Good morning, all. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Happy early holidays to those of you guys who celebrated. And, kudos to everybody who have a short work week this week because I know I am looking forward to that. Those of you who follow my personal channel, you already know I do have like 3, I want to say, or maybe even 4 videos posted already. I have a story time of how I fell out with my childhood best friend. I have 1 year post life update after divorce. And I will be posting a new video tomorrow. I did some vlogging over the weekend. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm a homebody, so it wasn't much going on. Like, my boyfriend did stop by for a little bit, so I included a small little clip of that, but I don't be having much going on. But I have to finish editing that. That will be uploaded tomorrow. And then I'm gonna be doing Vlogmas, y'all. So it's gonna be like what it's like to celebrate the holidays, as a single mom of 3. So this is the channel for those who are interested in me personally, the content creator behind the content. So I'm going to link my personal channel in the comments below. Feel free to follow me if you're interested in that. So today's video is going to be stripper tales, stripper diaries, chronicles, whatever you want to call it, okay? I think it's very interesting to kind of hear stories from people who live a different lifestyle as you. So this is going to be good. Some of these stories are like eye-opening. Some of the stories are just more for entertainment. Like the last story is definitely more of entertainment purposes, but I thought it was just interesting to upload. So this is going to be part 1. I probably will upload more, but let me know what y'all think. So go ahead and enjoy the content, and I will be back at the end with my commentary.
My blunt, taking a shot, grabbing my work bag, and heading into the club to the dressing room to dress up. And I started my night like normal. I got changed. I did my hair. I did my makeup. I checked in. I went out to the dance floor. I gave the DJ my ticket so that he could announce me. And I waited for my regular. And I had a regular who would come in every week. And every time he would come, now thinking back on it, it's kind of crazy. Every time he would come, he always wanted to have this crazy spiritual experience. And I never put much thought to it. I was just like, okay, you're going to help me meet my quota for the night so that I don't have to owe back house at the end of my shift. But he would come in with anklets. He would come in with gifts and presents all the time. And every time we would dance, he would always say these, little chants and, look at me in my eyes and stuff. And I was just like, okay, maybe this is his thing. Maybe this is his fetish. Just what he's into. And as an entertainer, your job is to fulfill their fantasy. So I never really thought much of it or him, until this night. And I remember the DJ called me on stage. I did my set. And I came back down and he was waiting for me by the bar. And we did our usual. We started the night off. We went to the back. We did a 5 for 50 dance. And I was going to start my dance like I normally do. And I want to like paint a picture really quick because I need you guys to understand how dramatic this was. The rooms they have curtains and it's just a chair with a carpet and a little stand right there where you put your money and your keys, your car, whatever that they have in their pockets. And it's red light. So it's like all dark except for red lights. And the walls were black and he sat down and he did his thing. And the bouncer that checks in's all the way at the front. So we're like in the corner room all the way in the back. And the bouncer that checks us in for the dance is all the way at the front. So we close the curtain and I start doing my thing. I turned around and I'm drunk, I'm high, but I'm still like in my senses. I'm like lit enough to the point where I can perform and be loose, but not to the point where I'm like, don't know what's going on. Like I'm still in my right mind. I can still drive, I can still focus, but I took enough to take like that edge off, to take that heaviness that I was feeling coming into work.
Yeah, and you were doing that often too. This important to mention it, that it was your routine. You were doing that every time you were going to work.
Oh my goodness.
That night that you did something different. That was the same thing as you were always doing. It was every the same guy that you were always seeing.
Every night. Mind you, I was smoking drinks since I was 14. Like this was not something that I was like a lightweight, like this is stuff I've always done. So I was still in my right mind, but I wasn't like, down. So I started my dance. I had turned around and when I turned back around, because he was sitting in the chair watching, when I turned back around, the Holy Spirit allowed me to see who I was really dancing for, who I was really entertaining. And when I turned to look at him, my regular wasn't my regular anymore. He still had a human body of a man. He was still wearing what he was wearing, but his face was distorted. He had sharp teeth. His eyes were like black, and he just had this nasty look on his face, like this nasty perverted lust, like, but the kind of lust where you're like, oh my God, I'm in trouble. Kind of like, don't look at me like that. Like, I literally like felt like fear and like disgust, like flood over me. I was so afraid of what I was seeing that I literally like grabbed my heels and I ran back to the dressing room. I left him there. And as I was running through the crowd, it was packed. It was a Friday night. It was a Friday or a Saturday night, so the club was packed. And I remember some older guys were like by the bar and they turned around, they were reaching out. They're like, hey, let's go get a 2 for $25. But as I was looking at them, I was literally seeing them in the spirit realm. So I was literally seeing the spirits that they were carrying. I was literally seeing the demonic presence that were on him. Even the women, there was like women that were on stage and their face was like flashing and distorting. And I like was like sweating. I was like getting flashes. I like completely like ran to the back. And I remember as I was running through the back, the doors were swinging behind me. And I got into the dressing room and there was girls still getting ready because mind you, I had just started my shift. It had to be like close to midnight around there. And I remember some girls were still getting ready and the floor runners were there. And they're like, come on, everybody out to the dance floor. The owner's watching. Like, we need all dancers to the floor, all dancers to the floor. Come on, girl, come on. And I was like, I can't. I feel sick. I'm not going out there. I feel disgusted. And I was just sweating. I felt like my life was like literally like I was getting hot flashes. And I remember just sitting there and I just felt so hot. And everyone had left the room. And as soon as everyone left the room, I felt the Holy Spirit come into the dressing room. And I was still so like freaked out of my mind. And I was like, God, I don't want to be here no more. God, I don't want to do this anymore. God, get me out of here, God. God, if you get me out of here, Lord, I promise I'm so serious this time. If you get me out of here, God, I promise I'll leave. I'll forgive him, God. I'll forgive him, God. I'll do what it needs to do, God. I know that it's going to be hard, but if you get me out of here, God, God, if you get me out of here right now, God, I'll follow you. I don't care. Just get me out of here because I'm afraid. I'm afraid, God. And I heard him, he was like, come on, let's go. And I remember getting changed really fast. I grabbed my bags. I didn't even pay house because you have to pay to check in and you have to pay to check out. I didn't wait for the bouncer to walk me to my car because you had to wait for them to walk you to your car in case there were stalkers, in case there were guys watching you, watching the parking lot, because the parking lot where we parked at was on this side and the parking lot that the customers parked at was on this side. So it was literally like anyone can just walk there. So normally there was a bouncer in the middle door that would watch the women smoke cigarettes and then I walked them to the car at the end of the shift. I didn't care about none of that. I had the Holy Spirit with me. I ran to my car and I never looked back. And as I remember, as I was driving home, I was like, oh my God, Lord, this is crazy. I don't even have a job. How am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to pay my bills? I'm the one who's supporting myself right now. This was my job. The man that I'm living with right now, because I was in a new relationship, what is he going to think? He didn't meet me as a Christian. He don't know you. He don't know about this chapter of my life. Like, what is he going to think? Is he going to leave me? Like, at this point, I don't even care. I just know that I know what I saw and I'm never going back.
You can literally be harassed, verbally abused, and bullied, and no one feels the need to help. No one feels the need to stand up because, you know, we're just dancers and, you know, everyone thinks we're just airheads and, you know, we hold no value. But I have been working at this club for like 8-9 months, and you know, every club has issues and stuff like that, but I have literally been being harassed and abused. I've expressed this multiple times to my bosses. I've told them, like, this man is literally harassing me. This man is mentally throwing my mental off. It's causing me to have panic attacks. It's really messing with my everyday life because, you know, no one's gonna stand up for a dancer. So long story short, he's literally trying to pimp me against my will, and nobody wants to help. Nobody wants to speak up. Nobody wants to defend the dancers that it happens to. And it's just like with me, I'm a very strong personality and independent person, and I just can't let this keep happening. And it's just like when it starts happening to me and I'm going to people like, I need your help. Can you help me with this? Why is this person allowed to harass me? Why is this person allowed to pimp me? Why is this person allowed to take money from me? And he doesn't even work here. And there's no girls that literally will speak up because they're scared that they'll get fired or that, you know, they'll get in trouble. But the thing is, it's like with me, I always see myself as somebody who speaks up for herself, because if I don't, nobody else will. But it's to the point where I have expressed multiple times to my managers, to the people who are supposed to have my back and make sure that I'm in a safe working environment. It's to the point where this person is just taking money off of bags, saying negative things about me, telling people not to dance me, and just naturally hate me. And if you've been following me for a long time, you know I have no issue making money. I have no issue, you know, being in sections, like, type of situation. And it's just come to my attention that because I won't let this man pimp me and take money from me, he is now literally making sure that money that I am supposed to be in is being counted and not even seeing me at all. Like, I'm not seeing I'm trying just to use my communication skills and be an adult about everything, but nobody wants to help. It's multiple girls who literally go home crying, upset, stressed out because we're sitting here telling the people that are supposed to protect us as entertainers, hey, there's this man coming in the club trying to pimp us against our will, and you're doing nothing about it at all. At the end of the day, the contracts that we sign, the only person that should be taking any money from me is Magic City itself, a club. Any club you work for, you pay a house fee. But it's like when you have your entertainers coming to you, telling you, this man is trying to pimp me against my will. I don't want this man in the club. He makes me uncomfortable. And nobody helps. Nobody's saying anything. What are we supposed to do? So it's like, I'm on here, like, using my platform because nobody else is hearing me. So it's like the whole world is going to have to hear me because I'm tired of dealing with it. This is mentally causing me, it's like costing me my sanity at this point. Like, I just can't deal with it no more. And it's like, I literally have had to, like, talk to my therapist about it. It is really affecting my everyday life that they're allowing this man to come in the club and pimp women against their will. We have no say-so. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants to come in and someone throws 20,000 and he wants to take 15 off the top and give you each girl 500, they will let him. And for me, I'm too strong-minded and strong-willed as a female to let that go. And I know it's hella girls from years ago, because he's been doing this back way before time. But no one has ever stopped him. And it's just like, with me, I literally am to the point where I have to speak up. Because it's so many girls who are scared to speak up for themselves and stand up for themselves. And they're literally being pimped against their will because they can't say nothing or they'll get in trouble. They can't defend themselves or they look like a problem. Well, with me, I'm going to defend myself to the world's end. I'm not out here getting naked, working, dancing for another man to come and unwillingly take money from me whenever he wants. And everyone just turns a blind eye to it and lets it go. Like, I know I'm speaking for a lot of girls that I work with when I say this. Like, we don't speak up because we're scared that something will happen. We'll get fired. But it's like, this man doesn't even work in the club. How is he being allowed to come and take money from us that we worked for? We stand there all night. We entertain these men. And then you're telling me that this man can go downstairs and say, oh yeah, I'm going to take 10,000 off the top of this bag and y'all can have the rest. I don't need a pimp. I've never needed a pimp. But for the people who are supposed to protect me as an entertainer, allowing this to happen and turning a blind eye whenever I'm asking for help, it's just so discouraging. And it's like, I know that I'm probably the only girl who's going to speak on it because, like I said, I'm going to defend myself till the end of the world. And it might get me in trouble. It might get people mad at me. But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And there's no reason why a man who he's not even an employee of the club, is allowed to come and take from us with no consequences. This man can literally just freelance pimp every girl in my club. And we're not supposed to say anything. We're just supposed to be quiet and let it happen. If I go make 5,000, this man can come tell me, give me 3,000 of your money, or you won't be in a bag again. And then what he does is he goes to other customers when they come in. He talks bad about the girls that don't want to pay him, the girls that don't want to be pimped. He literally talks negative. He makes up lies, tells stories, tries to mess up their character in any way to try and stop their money. So it's pretty much one of those, you're either going to let me pimp you, or I'm going to make sure that nobody dances you. Nobody wants to work with you. Because I'm going to lie and tell them stuff that's not true just to stress you out. And it's to the point where, like, this is making me really anxious. It's making me sad. It's making me just stressed out. Like, it's really affecting my mental and my everyday ability just to be happy. All because you're potentially trafficking me. You're having me come do a service, and then you're taking money from me using my body. And I can't say nothing about it because I will get in trouble, or I will get fired, or I will look like a bad person, when in reality, I'm just a young female defending myself from these predators. This man is a predator, okay? This man, Baller, coming into my job and intimidating me and other dancers into giving him money every night because he feels entitled to us. We're the ones dancing. We're the ones doing this. And at the end of the day, like, I'm just fed up. And it's a lot of girls who are fed up with the situation. And I just can't keep letting it just go by. I've turned a blind eye to it multiple times. But when it's starting to have an effect on just everyday life and the things that I have to go through and argue or go back and forth about because this man feels entitled to us females and our bodies, it's just not right. So it's like, at the end of the day, like, I hope that, you know, anybody going through this same thing, like, I know it's clubs all around the world that have a baller. I know that. And it's not right. It's not normal. It's not okay. And we shouldn't stand for it.
So I was working at this club in Alabama, and there was this couple. So I worked there about a whole summer straight. I was going out there every weekend from, at the time, Mississippi. At the time, just like any other regulars, I didn't pay no mind. I just tried to get in where I could fit in. All the dancers would flock to them as soon as they came into the club. So I knew they were somebody. They never raised a red flag because most of the dancers there, they were from there. So I really didn't think too much of it. One thing I did notice is that they would pick the same girls over and over again. It was never like the new dancers like me that would be, you know, invited into their section. It used to get to me, but I got over it because I started making my own money and my own customers. I had a homegirl that I had put on to this specific club. I already could tell that she was down for anything, if you know what I mean. So anytime she would get requested to do dances, we wouldn't partner up. I would just kind of let her do her own thing. I never really, you know, thought about it too much. I always knew she was good. Hell, we were adults. So there comes this time where I see this really popular rapper at the time. He walks through the door and everybody goes crazy. So I'm already knowing like what time it is. It was already starting to really be a really good night. So I was really trying to get my ducks in a row and start making a plan, because if you know, you know, on a good night, you gotta be strategic when it comes to being a dancer, because if not, you'll miss out on the money. So I start seeing more people walk through the door, and it's like crowds of people at this time. Everybody's spending hella money. I see people go get $2,000, $3,000 at a time. And at this point, I know it's time to partner up. So of course, I go get my homegirl. I'm looking for her. I'm like, you know, texting her phone. Where you at, girl? Where you at? Come to find out she was in the parking lot taking a smoke break. So I waited on her to get dressed, and I just continued to dance for the party that I was dancing for at the time. So she comes back into the dressing room and she's getting dressed. She's putting her clothes back on. And I could tell that baby girl is drunk, okay? Drunk out her mind. That wasn't unusual for us because, I mean, we're dancers. We get drunk all the time. But she was like a little more wasted than usual. So I saw the chance once I got back on the floor, which is also like, we say the floor, we mean like back into the open area, like the stage, the seats, all that out there. I just kind of left her in the dressing room to kind of get herself together. But I went ahead and went back on the floor. I went back on the floor. My name was called to get on stage. So I got on stage. I did my little 1-2. And I think I made like $300-$400 on my stage set. I mean, you're getting money just to like stand there and swing around the pole. So it was good. It was easy money. Soon after I got off the stage, the DJ tells me to meet him at the DJ booth. He basically tells me that this couple wants to see me in VIP. Now, everywhere VIP is different. VIP was like in the back. Like VIPs can be anywhere, but this specific one, it was like in the back, ducked off. You couldn't get in, you couldn't get out like without authorization. So it was cool, but it was ghetto. It was ghetto. I go to VIP. I give them my name, where you're supposed to sign in and tell them like, hey, I'm going to VIP or whatever, because you have to be authorized to go through. And before I give them my stuff, because you have to give them like one of your belongings so you don't run out on them or from paying them. So I gave them my phone. As I gave them my phone, I could see my homegirl coming from the back. She wants to dance with me for this section. Now, y'all, it was so crazy because I was literally getting like the gut feeling to kind of like be like, nah, I'm okay. Like, you know, you don't have to dance for everybody that invites you to dance for them. So I kind of told my friend, like, girl, what you think? You think they got money? I was trying to deter her from actually wanting to dance, but me asking her more questions made her more anxious to want to dance for them. So I let her. I let her dance for the couple. It's what it is. If she needs me, she knows where to find me. Whatever. Plus, I didn't see them going there with like a lot of ones. So I didn't think they were going to really do too much or throw that much money. I do see her come out when she's done doing her 3 songs. 3 songs is the minimum when you're doing VIP. And I saw her after she finished doing those 3 songs. And I saw that she had a little, you know, just a little munyon. But what surprised me was even after she gave the dance, they still wanted me to dance for them. It's like they weren't taking no for an answer at this point. So what did I go do? I went and danced for him. It was only the male. It wasn't even the couple. It was just the husband or boyfriend or whatever. But he was a grown behind man. And sometimes what these men want you to do, they want you to just listen. I used to get paid the most money just to listen to people talk. Men, pastors, teachers, just to talk about their relationships and their problems. I got paid the most just to listen to them people talk. It's what I did in this instinct. And you guys, what I was taught through this conversation, mind blowing. This man proceeded to tell me how him and his wife would come to the strip club to fish. At the time, of course, I did not know what fishing was. I had no idea. I kind of just, if I had to guess, I thought it was something similar to like picking up random men at like a bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought that's what fishing was. But no. He was intoxicated, probably off of some pills, so it was easier for me to get this conversation out of him. But I really think it was God, y'all. I really think it was God. He proceeded to tell me that him and his wife only comes to the strip club because he has herpes and his wife will not him. He told me that he wanted to have a party with me and my friend, but he saw in my eyes that I wasn't trying to do that. Y'all, when he said he saw it in my eyes that I wasn't that type of person, I felt chills through my body. All I could think about, you guys, was the fact that my friend had just danced for them right before me. I don't even think he knew what he had just told me. Like, I don't even think he was aware of what he had just admitted to me. I proceeded to act like everything was still cool after he told me that, because, I mean, you just come into the strip club for entertainment, right? Like, you didn't really come here tonight planning on fishing, did you? That I seen him here, so I already knew he had gotten plenty of girls. And when I walked back to that dressing room, I saw my friend putting back on her underwear. I already knew the damage was done.
Storytime, stripper edition. So recently, our club changed its hours. We used to open at 4, but now we open at 6. And I work an hour away from home. So to beat traffic, I'm always on time, always. So I'm thinking that it's going to be a lot of girls there. Since it's a Saturday, it makes sense. Best day of the week to go to work. I was already running late, so I decided no makeup. I decided just to do lip gloss and lashes. And I got there around 5:45. And usually I sit in the dressing room for 2 hours because customers really don't be coming in till like 8 o'clock. So I thought I had time. And that was not the case. My manager was texting my phone from outside, was like, hey, we got 4 customers come in. It's 6:45. So I'm trying to get dressed, put on perfume and all that good wild flutter in my hair, just doing it in between. So I finally get on the floor. More and more customers coming in. And it's only me. So I'm sitting here running here, there, trying to satisfy every customer, make sure they good straight. You know, you're the only girl? Yes, I'm the only girl. So do you want this dance or not? Because I don't have time. And it was like 16 customers and just me. And mind you, I do not work in the black strip club. I work at a strip club where it's mainly white men and Hispanic men. We have some black customers occasionally, but it's really not that. It's really white men. One of the regulars came in and his wife is black. They've been married for 8 years. Another man walks in, white man walks in, and he sits next to him about his wife and saying how he's sick of marriage. Okay? I don't like sad people when I'm at work. Stop being depressed. Go to the next person. I get called on stage for my third stage set, and the man that was complaining about his wife, he eventually goes sit by himself, and he was looking at me on stage. So once I got off stage, I went to go sit with him. He starts telling me about his wife, and he was asking how much her dance is. At our club, dances are 25, 20 goes to you, 5 goes to the house. The bartender comes up to us, and we look, and we both turn. His wife is at the door. Okay, I'm making part 2 right now because y'all getting on my, and I did not expect that. Okay, so we go back up a little bit. Before she walked through the door, I sat down. I asked him, I was like, how are you doing? And he was like, oh, my life's just miserable. My kids, my wife is, I don't know if this marriage is going to work. We've been together 20 years, blah, 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 blah. And I told y'all, I hate that. So I am an entertainer. I'm supposed to be entertaining you. I'm not your therapist. Okay? And he was asking me how much was the dances, and he had a $50 bill on his lap. So I'm thinking like, boom, I'm gonna go get 2 more dances. Like, I need the money. And I also want y'all to put faces with it. So I'm about to show a picture of what she reminded me of. Because as soon as she walked through that door, I was like, you look like this person from this cartoon. If you ever watched F is for Family on Netflix, this what she looked like. Double chin and all. She looked like this, built like this. And this is what I be looking like when I'm at work because I know I'm out of my element. And this is what I look like at work. Okay, like I said, the bartender came up to the man, was like, your wife is here. He turns around and looks and was like, then turns around back to me and was like, oh, my wife's here. My eyes is like, are you not supposed to be here? Like, how'd she find you? She dropped you off? Like, how the you know you was coming to this club? And the man with the black wife was sitting by the front door. So the man that I'm sitting with was like, wait, like, come on in, like telling her to come in. And so the other man thinks he's talking about him. So the wife starts walking over to the table. Also, the man with the black wife start walking over to the table. So the wife sits down. And when the wife sits down, the other man with the black wife was like, what you want? And he was like, I wasn't calling you. I was calling my wife. And the man with the black wife, his eyes got like big and he just looked and he looked at me and he was like looking like, this your wife?
Okay, so I'm gonna try not to make this long, but I do want to talk about a couple of things. Number one, I've already talked about this on my channel before that when you work in the nightlife, and when I say the nightlife, I mean things like being a bartender, being a dancer, club promotion, doing street life activities, whether it's legal or illegal, etc. You're opening up yourself to a possible world of low vibrations, low vibrational people, low vibrational things, low vibrational energies. So it's really important to know that because you should have some type of spiritual awareness about yourself to be able to see the unseen, to be able to just like get an overall feeling of whether you should be somewhere, whether you should be around somebody, etc. I try to tell people, like, whether you believe in the spiritual world or not, it does exist. And the first girl's story, I 100% believe her. Like, she started tripping out, like, oh my gosh, their face was distorted. Da, da, da. Like, yeah, welcome to the spiritual world. And if people could see the spiritual world, they would go crazy. Hence, she went crazy dang near. She's like, I gotta get out of here. Like, yeah. See, I am what people call clairvoyant. So I have already seen the spiritual world. I actually see it pretty often. It's, I believe, a gift. Like my mom has it, my sister has it. So my grandma had it. So I definitely believe that it's just something in our family. But I've told some of y'all before, a dude I was dealing with woke me up out of my sleep. Part of his belly was a snake. It had red eyes and everything. And then another guy I dealt with before, he had it almost looked like an Egyptian spirit, like a female spirit. She was sitting next to him and she was rubbing his head and everything, almost like she was his woman. And then I guess she looked at me, I looked at her, and then she disappeared. Like it was almost like an incident of like, oh, you can see me? Let me get out of here. And I've seen that quite a few times where spirits be like, oh, shoot, so you see me, let me disappear. Like, so the spiritual world does exist, okay, whether you believe it or not. And it's important, again, to have some type of spiritual awareness for that, especially going into things like the nightlife. I am glad that she was able to experience that though. So now she no longer does that from what she says, and she's just going a different lifestyle because she just felt that it was not for her. And that's what the spiritual awareness is for. Okay. Y'all seen my video of my intuition story times where people were saying if I didn't follow my intuition, then this could have happened, etc. That is all in relation to this, just being spiritually aware. It could save you, your children, etc. Okay. I do feel sorry for the second story of the women who feel like they are being pimped by that guy. I will say my first initial thoughts were that if this dude has been complained about multiple times by the entertainers and they have not said anything, I feel like he might have some other ties that they don't know about to the club owner, etc. You just never know. That's a dark world, a dark industry, and you'll be surprised at who's all involved with that. But he could actually be paying them behind the doors, you know what I mean, behind the scene, and to do stuff like that. He might have really actually trafficked some people. He might be involved in some type of kidnapping. You just never know. So that's why I say it's like a dangerous lifestyle. You're opening yourself up to low vibrational people and things. So if they have not done anything about him, he might have some business with either the owners or whatever that you just don't know about, unfortunately. But I will say it's not worth your peace. I don't care how much money you're making. If you feel like your peace is at jeopardy, then you need to leave. Go find somewhere else to work. Find another way to get money. She said that, she never had an issue getting money. Then go find somewhere else to get money because it seemed like that's not worth it if she's still even working there. Yeah, but the other stories I'm not really surprised about. The girl who was talking about that couple where the guy had an STD, I'm not even surprised about that at all. Again, you're opening yourself up to low vibrational people and things. And unfortunately, when you have a friend like hers who just lives life freely like that, not cautiously or anything, you just only are focused on things like materialism, the money, etc., then you will introduce yourself to stuff like that. Now, we don't know if she obviously has the STD. I will say with that specific STD, from what I hear, you have to actually have an outbreak to give it to somebody. So we don't know if he had that going on or not, but she just seems to be moving carelessly from what she said it. And I wouldn't be surprised if she end up having something, already has something, or ends up getting it soon. So you have to be careful again in that lifestyle because you're opening yourself up again to low vibrational people and low vibrational things. And of course, the last story was just entertainment purposes, which is so weird. Like, why was the wife just standing there? Like, she must not have known he been doing this, or girl, I don't know. That was just, it was funny to me. But let me know what y'all think. Have y'all had any experiences like this, heard about experiences like that? What do you guys think about the stories that the girls were talking about? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget my personal channel will be linked in the comments. Have a good day, y'all.